Well, well, well. The media is all ablaze. Brian Schottenheimer has been officially announced as the head coach of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, in the head coach introduction or the press conference, there is also one Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. But I'm not mad, because I'm going to give you 6 reasons said in this press conference that ought to have every Dallas Cowboys fan excited. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can help us to continue to grow this channel and push us out into the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to, you can like it now. Now let's talk facts. I'm excited about this press conference. This press conference really had me excited because this doesn't sound like the Mike McCarthy press conference. This press conference actually sounded like the Cowboys are actually about to do something differently than they've done before. I mean, it's not the first time they've hired a coach that didn't have head coach experience, but to me, it seems like it's the first time that they've hired a head coach and they are motivated to make sure that this coach is successful. It seems to me the Cowboys are in prove it mode, because the media is tearing this thing apart. Michael Irvin came out with a sensational soliloquy on this whole situation. And so many people are talking on it. And the one thing that's getting lost in the sauce is people don't seem to be giving Brian Schottenheimer a chance. It's not Brian Schottenheimer's fault. Let's wait and see what Brian Schottenheimer actually does. But I'm going to give you 6 reasons, like I said. 6 reasons that Schottenheimer, Jerry, and Steven said. 6 reasons of why every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited. And in particular, I'm telling you, Stephen Jones, I have to admit it, Stephen Jones stole the show in this press conference. The first reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited is because Stephen Jones said the goal is to put the best roster together in the NFL. Let's listen.
And, I think we got a great plan on defense. I think we got a great plan on special teams. We're putting that all together. That has to come together as a staff, and certainly Schotty leads that. And as he said, some of his best characteristics are communications and working with people. And I see that. I've taken that in. I've gotten more respect through this process with him, and also talking to other men about the job. But certainly we'll do a real deep dive on putting some personnel together, whether it be through the draft, free agency. I know, typically that's not been the way we've done this team, but we'll certainly look at it and, put really good, not only players, but good football character people with some of the men we have in this room right now. And we have a lot of great players on this team. And certainly no one has excuses. We had a few challenges this year on the injury front, and that's why we think we do need to keep some continuity. Certainly every team, when they're looking for a coach out there, is looking, what's in the best interest of the quarterback. Certainly that played a role here. And, Dak's not making any coaching decisions, nor does he want to. But I can tell you every team who made a coaching decision was looking at how they saw for the quarterback. And, that's how you win in this league. I think we've got one of the best, if not the best, in terms of our quarterback. And he's the ultimate leader, and we just have to continue to put the pieces around. And, we're not naive. I know our fans. They're not going to believe, and there's going to be pressure until we get the job done. And certainly we didn't get the job done this year, and our ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. I can tell you, I've never seen a man more driven than Jerry. This is huge to him to go get this championship. And I know Coach Schottenheimer believes the same thing, and I know our players sitting in the back want it. I mean, they want it. They're driven to get it, and we've got to get the right people to put around them. We'll have turnover in our roster like we do every year, and our goal is to put together the best roster in the NFL.
Our goal is to put together the best roster in the NFL. And notice what he said. We're going to do it like we don't normally do it. We are going to play in free agency. Of course, they're going to do it through the draft. And I'm not going to be surprised if they also do it in trading, because you got to tap all three sources if you truly want to build a team. The second reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited is that Brian Schottenheimer is going to do something that Mike McCarthy could not do. McCarthy struggled working within the framework of the Joneses. He lied to get the job, and then he got in and started acting all brand new and started trying to change things. But Brian Schottenheimer seems to be able to work within the construct of the Dallas Cowboys. And so the second reason that every Dallas Cowboys fan should be excited is that Brian Schottenheimer is going to build a winning mentality and a winning culture. Let's listen.
Before I respond to that, I'd like to go back with one thing, Nick. I'm not doing this by myself. I've got the incredible support of Jerry, Steve, and the Jones family. The young men that are sitting behind you, we're doing this together. So my message to the Cowboys fans and community is we're going to do this together, and we're going to build this thing the right way. We're going to get the culture right. The X's and O's will come. That doesn't matter. But the support and the work ethic of these guys that sit behind me, incredibly humbling that they know what it takes to win too. So it's not just me, it'll be me and the staff.
They talked about culture, communication, continuity. You kept hearing communication, culture. It shows you there was something that Mike McCarthy couldn't do. And he's saying something. The X's and O's are not the most important thing. No, people are. The players are. And if you get the players in the right mindset, players can make the simplest plays. If they'll just do what they're supposed to do, they can make the simplest plays look good. So I love what Brian Schottenheimer is talking about. Let's go to number 3. The third reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited about Brian Schottenheimer is he'll run the ball. Let's listen.
Again, I go back to my days with Pete. I think if you go back and you look at some of the things we did in Seattle, obviously the starting point for me would be things that our players do well. You're always going to start with that. If your system's not flexible enough to do what your players do well, then you're probably in the wrong business. But I'm a big believer in cut splits. I'm a big believer in shifts and motions to distort things. We're going to do a great job of marrying our runs and our passes and make those look the same. I'm proud to say that 2 different times in my career as a coordinator, we led the league in rushing. And they go hand in hand. The running game and the action passing game go hand in hand. But I would say there's a tempo element that we're excited to mix in, that our players have all shown an affinity for. And let me expand on that a little bit. Why do players like tempo? Well, they like tempo because it allows them to play free. You guys have heard some of the play calls. Dak could rattle off 4 or 5 of them right now. They're pretty long. So when you go fast and you're playing on the ball, these guys, it's a little bit more like pickup basketball, and those would probably be the biggest things that I would say from an offensive standpoint.
There was a term that when Brian Schottenheimer was in Seattle, and they would say, let Russ cook. Well, it sounds like to me that Brian Schottenheimer is saying, we're going to turn Dak Prescott loose. Not only are we going to turn him loose, we're going to have an innovative offense, and we're going to run the ball. And Dak Prescott is going to be exactly what he's supposed to be. A fantastic play-action quarterback. The fourth reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan ought to be excited about the hiring of one Brian Schottenheimer is the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, thankfully, have been paying attention to not just the Commanders, but in particular, the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted Philadelphia to go to the Super Bowl. So Dallas can see how it's really done. The Philadelphia Eagles have literally the best roster in the NFL. Let's listen.
From a personnel and roster building standpoint, salary cap management as well for Jerry and Steven, you guys talk about learning some hard lessons, especially from 2024, depth issues once you guys were ravaged by injury. Just as far as salary cap management goes, free agency and the like, looking in the mirror is one way that you can learn things. Another way is to look at what your opponents and enemies are doing and try to kind of take from their strategies. When you look at a team like the Eagles, for example, do you feel there's anything that you guys can kind of take from their strategies, seeing as they handle free agency a certain way and they're back in the Super Bowl this year, that kind of could work for the Cowboys going forward?
Yeah, I think you certainly look at that. I think you look at your competitors in your conference, what it's going to take to have success, whether that's a 49er team or whether that's an Eagle team. Obviously, the 49ers, had the injury bug situation. And, in this salary cap era, if that injury bug hits you hard enough, it's, it can be difficult to overcome. And but at the same time, that's the goal, is to really do a good job with your draft, college free agency. That should be where your strong depth is. Obviously, this year we were counting on playing those guys right away, and they had to jump right in. And as the injuries came, more and more had to jump in. And but I think the bigger thing here is just where can we, which has been our goal in the past, where can we, in free agency, take care of some core needs so that when the draft comes, you are able to take the best player on the board, not unlike we did with CD. We weren't necessarily in that draft looking for a receiver, but CD Lamb's sitting there, and it's obvious what you do there. And I think if you do some things in free agency, like we've done in the past, to really take care of your roster before the draft comes around, you have a much better chance. But certainly, you look at the blueprints, everybody does it different. Kansas City's doing a great job bringing young guys along, and those type of things. And like a team like Philadelphia, you certainly look at the way they're doing it, where they went out and did some things with some veteran players. You have to take a look at that, and then you got to find exactly what fits your core, your DNA with our players and what we have, and what gives us the best chance to compete against. Certainly, you start with your division, the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants. And then you stretch that out, and what does it take to beat the 49ers, to beat the Rams? Certainly those are all things that come in the mix.
The Philadelphia Eagles and the Commanders in particular are having an impact, I believe, on some of the things they're saying, and especially the Philadelphia Eagles. And both of those teams, Philly has Kellen Moore. Commanders have Dan Quinn and some of the Cowboys free agents. I think they're starting to realize something, that if we don't do something, we're going to be third in this division. And if we're third in this division, we won't see another playoffs for another 10 years. So I believe this is another reason Dallas Cowboy fans ought to be excited. And the fifth reason, every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited about the hiring of one Brian Schottenheimer, is that Jerry Jones finally admits what some of us already knew. He has not been managing the salary cap well. And it's not the salary cap or the players making money why he hasn't been able to sign players. No. He hasn't been doing the salary cap right. And he's admitting it. Let's listen.
What you see here, no apologies. Everybody has to do it. We obviously hadn't done it well enough. I think our first Super Bowls that I was involved in were before the cap. And so we have to do a better job in that area. Can we? You bet you can.
Yes, Jerry, you can. And from everything we're hearing, Jerry Jones is saying he will. That's the fifth reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited. And finally, last but not least, the sixth reason that every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited about the hiring of one Brian Schottenheimer. When Brian Schottenheimer was in Seattle, Russell Wilson literally had 3 of the best years of his career, in particular the last season. Brian Schottenheimer was able to bring the best out of one Russell Wilson. I believe Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson was when Brian Schottenheimer got a hold of him. And so Brian Schottenheimer has promised that Dak Prescott is going to play elite quarterback and he's going to win championships. Let's listen.
Brian, my question is, Dak's missed a large portion of 2 of the last 5 seasons with injuries. It's going to be, I think, 32 when the next season starts.
He's a young 32.
What's your vision? You talked about how important the quarterback is, all of you have in these kinds of decisions. What's your vision for him going forward?
I think when you talk about Dak, number one, I've had the best seat in the house for the past couple of years in terms of the first year 1 as a consultant, watching. Literally, I remember the first day I was in the building, he came up and introduced himself, said hello, and we were just talking, and people that we mutually respected, and we talked about that. But, being around the last couple, years, my vision for him is he's one of the best. And through the coaching that he's going to get, through the hours and hours and hours of time that he and I will spend together, he's going to play elite level football, and he's going to lead us to championships. And that's because of the way he works, the way he prepares. This guy prepares different. Ed, he does. He prepares different. This guy, I'll be coming down late at night and trying to get something to drink, and I just have to move around because my eyes are bugging out from watching video, and he's still in the building doing his, I guess it's hot, cold therapy, whatever that is. I don't do that, but we got the right guy. And working closely with him and these other players, we're going to win. And we're going to win a championship. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
Dak, you're sitting right behind Ed Werder there. Reach up there and squeeze him on his neck.
I'm excited. I think we may be getting what we want. I think the issue is it just doesn't look like we want it to look. When Jesus came back, I'm excited. I think we're getting exactly what we want. I think the problem is it just doesn't look the way we want it to look. When Jesus came on the scene and began his ministry at 30 years old, everybody was saying things like he's the carpenter's son. I mean, it didn't matter what he did. I mean, he's the carpenter's son, and the things that he was saying, I mean, people, it was a hard thing to understand they were saying, and so they would turn back and not follow him. And the reason why is that they were waiting on the Messiah, but he didn't look like what they envisioned the Messiah looking like. I'm not calling Brian Schottenheimer the Messiah by any stretch of the imagination. But we've been saying that we want something different, that we want a change, that we want somebody that can come in and really make a difference in this franchise. Well, from everything I'm hearing from Brian Schottenheimer, it sounds like Brian Schottenheimer, even though he doesn't have the skins on the wall, I mean, to me, it sounds like Brian Schottenheimer is the very man we've been looking for. And Jerry said the same, and Steven said the same. So again, at the end of the day, I'm excited. I'm riding with this team as I've always have. And I am 100% all in on the bandwagon of let's not only give Brian Schottenheimer a chance, but how about we try to do our best that whenever it comes from us, that we do things to not only encourage other fans, but also just send positive vibes out throughout Cowboy Nation, and just really, let's just wait and see. And if it turns out, man, we are about to be in for some of the best football we've seen in the last 10 years of the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to do it for me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. What do you think about Brian Schottenheimer now that you've heard the press conference, and especially now that you've heard my 6 reasons why every Dallas Cowboy fan should be excited? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, again, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to become a member if you haven't already. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.